Take the way, the right way. Aderet, truth, emet, life. Achayim, because Yeshua is the sent one to show us what we can believe and do. Who? That's what we were just dancing with. Who? He is. Roman, he is holy. The Word became flesh. It's beginning to believe him for everything. So how you do that? The spiritual must overtake the physical. It's got to overtake the flesh. We said that this morning. You have to be walk in the Spirit as I'm in the Spirit. Don't walk in the natural, walk in the Spirit. Your spirit beings, your spirit and soul return to God who gave it. When we pass this earth and pass into the next, and there's always two shoes, right? And 2 feet. One here and one into eternity. Choose this day where you're going to go with that. So Judas failed in that moment of priority. We must run the race. We spoke of that about Eric this morning. With our God-given spiritual blessings. God's spiritual immor is our deliverance. He spoke. You are mine. And the enemy cannot have you. And I find no fault in you. That's what's going on in the spirit realm. That's the majesty. That's the glory. That is the treasure. That is our gift. That is what we live and move and have our being for. That's why we're here. God is so good. So if we could speak a thought today, we might get out of me, flesh. Get out of me, hinds, those things that I know that are not from him, but from my own making, my own evil inclination. The Yetzar Hara, and get into the Yetzar Tov, the one that comes from the Spirit. Your spirits rejoice. This is good for your spirit. This is good for your soul. To come and see him and hear him and stand with him and know the order that he has presented to us, our own bodies, for our own life at this moment in time. That Yehehianu, today is the day of salvation. Now is the time of God's favor. So perhaps there's coming a time when leaders will be few and hard to find. I believe it. I think it is. And maybe, it is now. So we must teach our children. That's why I was looking at Frankie and I know all of us and all of our grandchildren. You're going to see grandchildren. You just come from grandchildren. You're having grandchildren. We've got to teach our children. Because without Torah, they perish. Without Torah, I perish. Because it's the foundation of everything. He is the Word became flesh. He is Torah. So get ourselves ready now. What will you teach? There's really only one instruction. There's only one way. Whoa. There we go. My clicker's finally working. Okay, so let's look at this. What are we going to teach? On the first day there was what? What was it the first the day that he created? He created light. Right. And it was Tov. The light was good. Okay, it's Torah. The light is Yeshua. So the light, you can line these right up with these 20, Leviticus, Vayikra 23, the 7 feasts, 8 you could call it, of the Lord. Pesach is the first one that comes in the springtime. That's where we get Kokma. With Kokma, you can read it in Job. With Kokma, he founded the earth, and he put it all into motion. Where did it come from? Where was it hidden? Where does the mountain line and the mountain goat, sorry, give birth? Where does he have the snow? Wisdom. Wisdom was there in the beginning, and let there be light. There was light. You saw the light was good. So wisdom is the first of the 7 spirits. We're going to go through the 7 spirits and the 7 days of creation, and it's coming again. It is coming again. The light is coming back. Don't worry. The light is coming. And we're going to get the light in day 4, we know. So, day 2 was separation. What's the second feast? The second feast is unleavened bread. What are you doing? You're separating out leaven from unleavened. And so you're coming into the waters and the separation of the firmament, and it's the separation. You separate sin from your camp, sin from yourselves. You get out of it. Where do you get that? In binah, in understanding, and putting the wisdom of the Torah into action. That's understanding. That's binah. So we divide. We make a choice. We follow the way, truth, life. Day 3, They're new plants, seeds, seed-bearing fruits, green things. Green things, good things are going to grow again. We're never going back to the garden, and there will be good. And there'll be the leaves for healing of the people and the nations, right? So there's going to be new plants. Just like in Bikurim, he arose. He arose in Bikurim, and there was new life. And it came to all of us. And that is the counsel. That is the Etzah Adonai, the counsel of the Lord. And it is good. And all that is going to come again. Day 4, the great light and the lesser light. We talk about this many times on Rosh Chodesh, every Rosh Chodesh. It's also the times of the Lord, the Mikra'e Kodesh, because we're to keep the Rosh Chodesh. It reminds us all these things. So it shall be established again. And God has, certainly it's that way in heaven now, but he's going to come and reestablish on earth. Yeshua's going to come back, and the Father's going to send him when he sends him at the portal, and then he'll come, and boom, things are going to change. And all flesh shall see together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. So it will be again on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, Yeshua, the Chai, the bread of life. And we shall all be changed. And that's why he gave this Shabbat. In Israel they say Shabbat. Shavuot, some people say, where the Word and the Spirit come as one. It's actually one. And that was given. It was given on Sinai. It's given again in Jerusalem. It is coming again. And that is the Ruach HaAdonai, because that's the top of the lamp on the menorah. It's the Ruach HaAdonai, the Spirit of Adonai. So that's the day 4, when he gave light to the earth. Light is coming back again in Yeshua. The Father's going to set that order. The earth is, a lot of governments and such are spinning this way and that way and saying this, that, you know what it is. We're not going to speak of it. We're not going to give any energy, any credit, any presence at all. But you know there are things being said out there. So, day 5, then all creation, the fish and the crawling things and the creepy things and all those kinds of things were created. Well, they're all groaning for his return. And that is the groaning of the Yom Teruah when he comes back with Giverah power, Giverah might. He's coming back as Mashiach ben David in power, and then he's going to go and have Ta'at, just judgment and vengeance, and the Yirat, the fear of Adonai. It's coming on day 6 and 7. It's the same as when it began. It's coming back. There is nothing new under the sun. What went will come again. So there will be, everything will be glad. Can you imagine how the creeping, crawling things? You think they don't know? Behold the ant. Behold the ant works very hard at doing exactly what it's created to do, right? So we should be doing what we're created to do. We should be going after our own destiny. Go to your purpose. Shlech lecha. That's what Layla is going to be teaching us, is go. Go. Have a different spirit. Caleb had a different spirit, and Yehoshua. They didn't die out like the other 10, but they came to the land. So that's what we're to do. Behold the hand. Go to our destiny. So that, did I say, give it on and might. So then day 6, okay, the beast will see. The beasts were created before humankind, right? So the beast will see. They also were shot for joy. And the beasts, they do what they were called to do. Nobody has to teach them. And we start teaching ourselves all kinds of different things we're supposed to do. Oy vey, he created us for our destiny. The plans that I have for you, they are for good, not for harm. You don't know what the plans are. Eyes not seen, ears not heard, neither is entered into the heart of man, but he will reveal it by the Ruach HaKodesh. Again, our spirit connected with his spirit. It has to come that way. And so we have to listen. And what is that going to be? That feast, that day, etc., because there will be a day of final judgment. Either resurrected to life or resurrected to separation and destruction of the righteous and the unrighteous. And that is the da'at. Oh, I didn't do that right. That's da'at. was telling Cecilia this morning, the computer crashed, PowerPoint crashed, and whatever, and I had to go back and redo the large charts. Obviously, I didn't do that right. There's another thing I did wrong. That's okay. He's correcting us as we go along the way. So day 6 is the Yom HaKippurim, but the spirit is the knowledge, and then the fear. Hope we got that right. Yeah, the fear. But this is supposed to be of the knowledge, ta'at, because Giberon is in forward. It's in the Yom Teruah. He's coming back with might, and he's going to come back, and the sky will split. A thundering, exactly, and all flesh shall see it together. So this, just say that to ourselves. Okay, that's ta'at. It is coming back with the knowledge. Is day 6. With the knowledge, you put it all into place. Day 7 is finally the reverential falling on our face, prostrating before the Lord. It is the Yirat Adonai. Not fear like Lo Yirah, which was, he says, do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not be afraid, for I'm your God. So all the nations will come. That's in the Sukkot. All the nations will come up and reverence before me, if they be willing. There will be others who will not, but will stay away. We don't understand that, but the word says it. So, but that is how we will come, and that's what Sukkot is a reminder of, are the nations coming before us this way. It has the offerings that were in when we had the temple, the 70 bulls in Sukkot is for the nations, all to come together and ultimately be at the wedding feast of the Lord. And it's to be an 8-day ceremony, and then there will be a final conclusion, the Shemini Atzeret. So that's how it's going to happen again, and that's what it is, and that's what we understand when we read Leviticus, Vayikra 23 about these feasts of the Lord. And that's what we're to understand. When he speaks, this is huge into our lives, to keep these things. Don't stray from them. If we don't get anything else, keep his Torah and give it away. What did he say? The Great Commission is to go and to teach them all the things that I've commanded you into the uttermost parts of the earth. That's what we're to teach, the things that I've commanded. If you love me, you'll obey my commands. Ordinance, decrees, and precepts, instructions. So everything is to be a la'azkara to Adonai, a reminder of what's in our remind ourselves of these. That's why we do the cycle of every year, every month, every Shabbat. The Shabbat is the bread and the wine, and Shabbat evening is the mini Pesach. Do this in remembrance of me. And so we need this cycle. We need the reminder. It is good for our spirit. Our spirits rejoice. So just make ourselves rejoice. We can do this, good people. We can do this good thing. So what we ultimately become is our ultimate achievement. Don't stay where we are. Go. Go your way. Go the way of Adonai to your purpose and your destiny. Bitterness and sin did not have to remain with God's help. It didn't have to remain with Judas either. But he listened to the wrong voice. We must shema to the right voice, Amor, him speaking. You will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. The way, the truth, the life. So, leave any chorlessness, workers of iniquity, bitter root, or whatever unforgiveness is like having drinking a poison, expecting it to kill the other person. It only kills you. Unforgiveness. So we're counting up and going up. We're counting this. We're waving this. We're counting the day 28 of the Omer. It's time to count our own cost and let him refine us. Remember, it's sifted 13 times. Is the barley grain? Is the barley flour? 13 perfect times. The 13 attributes. We said them this morning. That's all I wanted to say today. To be refined before him, and we do it every year. So his light beams are waving across the world right now, even in the moonbeams, but in the light beams. Are you a beam? Is he shining his light and the glory of Mashiach in your heart? He's trying. If we're willing, if we open our hearts. His eyes are watching, his heart is moving, his judgment is pouring, his plans never change, his way is perfect. The earth is full of your grace. Teach me your laws. Do you know this Psalm 119? If you read that, if you have a complete Jewish Bible where it accurately translates it as the word Torah, it's in all 21 of the 8 stanzas, the 8 verses of every letter. But it's not, that word is not in one of them. It's in the Beit. It's in the house. The God is in the house. The Aleph and the Tav is in the house. But in that house, in the little Beit, it does every other, you can look at that, every other one talks about his Torah, 21 times. But David heard and didn't write that in there. But listen to what David says. Oh, he's in the house. It's just like we were talking about this morning about hidden, where he hid the Jews and he hid his word in our hearts, so we won't sin against him. So Cecilia and I were looking at this. How do you keep your way pure? Guarding it according to your word. But listen to what is in it. And that word is Torah. One of them is mitzvot, Torah. Your word in my heart that I want which is his Torah. Teach me this one says, this translation does say law, but it's Torah. I'll proclaim you with my mouth all your rulings, Torah. See, it's in there. I'll rejoice in the way of your instruction. I'll meditate on your precepts. He's in more, he's speaking, even though may not be, it may be below the surface. He may be speaking in the back of our heads. Keep my eyes on your ways, Torah. I find my delight in your regulations, Torah. I will not forget your word, Torah. See, it's full, even though it doesn't say exactly the word Torah in the letter Beit. It's amazing how he has intricately put everything together so simply. If we'll pay attention, if we will listen, if we will obey. He sustains us. Oh, shall we give him the glory of his name, our humility, our obedience, our reverence, our honor, and our gifts. It's there and more. He's speaking. Do we Shema? Shem, the name. We'll read this in the Midrash this afternoon. The name, don't profane my name. One who profaned his name is born from a mixed family. Mixed blood, he profaned the name. And so that was presented. Only one time it was known that I know of in all of Scripture. And what was the verdict? To stone him. Those who heard it, stone him. And they did. It's in there. Don't profane the name. The Shema, when we say the Shema, do you hear it? Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. There are 3 manifestations of it. Each one are separate in that. When you're saying the Shema, you're bowing yourself before the name. The Most High God. Treasure of treasures. Okay, Ezekiel. Vayet Amir Yoru ben Kodesh lechol uven tamed letahor yore'um. And my people, they shall teach the difference between holy and unholy, between clean and unclean, and cause them to discern. They have deal to distinguish between holy and common, clean and unclean. That's exactly what he's teaching us through the book of Vayikra, so that we would know what would be holy and unholy if he didn't teach us. Like I said, the 7 things, that's what we stay away from, because they will reveal themselves from the outside if we harbor that fornication, murder, falsification, gossip, greed, theft, and pride. Okay, what's true? It's true we're a royal priesthood. It's all of Israel's calling to be that. It's everybody's created to be that. If we are willing, Nadiv left, we're all called. We're each exactly created to be who we are. Perfectly, wonderfully, fearfully. It's only the family of Aharon, however, the tribe of Levi, that is given the duty of the Cohen priests. It's just the duty. All of us are the same. We each have just different functions. But each of us are equal parts, just as important as every other part. That's how the Father puts it together. Perfectly. So the eternal priesthood of Aaron's descendants is legitimate, it's never-ending, will never go away. And did Yeshua replace the priesthood? No. We know he said to the one that he cleansed from the leprosy, go represent yourself to the priest, because that is the Father's order. Just because Yeshua cleansed him doesn't mean that you're free to, I don't have to do those things anymore. No, yes we do. Because the Father set it in motion. His things and ways are unchanging. Now, if we were on the earth, he wouldn't be a Kohen at all, since there already are Kohanim offering the gifts required by the Torah. No, he didn't and will not, when he returns, change. It will continue. The tribe of Levi are those to join. Levi means join, to Adonai. The tribe of Levi was named light bringer. It's what Aharon. The Kohanim were called to bring light, and the sons of Zadok from Ezekiel, of the line of Aharon, right through Pinchas, etc., were named for their ancestor Zadok. Zadok means righteous. The righteous light comes through the priesthood, the order that God, who's a God of order, that he's placed there. The sons of Zadok live and teach light and righteousness, and all point to the one who is the way, the truth, and the light. He is the light of the world, and he is our righteous one. God made him to be sin for us so that we become the righteousness of God in him. What are the charges to the priest? Come near to Adonai to minister. Stand before Adonai to offer to him the fat and the blood. Enter his sanctuary. Come near Adonai's table to minister to him. Keep his charge. See, we don't have to go all the way into and risk ourselves into the, we've talked about there's the way, representative way that we come to into the holiest place of God. But into the temple itself, the physical temple, and that is alone for the Kohanim and the Levites. They're to put on linen garments, no wool shall come upon them when they minister, so they won't sweat. Have linen turbans and linen trousers, neither shave their heads nor let their hair grow long, don't drink wine. Just interesting to read these things. Don't take as a wife a widow or a divorced woman, but only virgins of Israel. Teach Adonai's people the difference between holy and unholy, clean and unclean. Stand as judges according to Adonai's mishpatim, judgments. Keep Adonai's Torot. Zot Torot, his instructions. Chukim, Modim, feast, and hallow his Shabbatot. This is a picture. Not defile themselves by coming near a dead person. However, if someone dies in their presence, cleanse themselves according to the Torah. There is a way out. Eat the mincha, grain offering, chachat, sin offering, and the hasham, the guilt offering. Do not eat anything that dies naturally or by wild beasts. Serve Adonai as kadosh la Adonai, holiness unto the Lord. These Levites, the sons, have Adonai as their inheritance. Kohanim, they're a precious gift in our midst. They're there today. I'll show you. Determining the heredity of a descendant of Aaron is one of the clearest genetic tests there is today. And he knows it. And it has its own website. Whoa. So, CohenLevy.org. Their Adonai is anointed. Honor them. Pray for them. Even today. One day may they all serve Adonai in King Messiah's temple. May it be soon in our days. Adonai Elohim. That's why we do the prayer for the coming temple. Every day, every Shabbat. It's important what we speak and more. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. What we speak makes all the difference in the world. The Rechadshah. It's in the spirit that those new to the times of God are able to keep these commands spoken by God and more, because they're contrary to nature. So these things that we do, because humankind and other religions have set up different times and seasons, and it says in the book of Daniel, it says in the book of Chronicles, that people who set up times and seasons different from his times and seasons, different from Vayikra 23, fail. And it's failed in the past, it will fail again. And he's coming back to set in season and in the cycle the same cycles, the the same feast, the same days, the same holiness, the same Shabbat, the same everything that he left with. And it's never changed. Nobody had the authority to change what the Father gave. Within a culture of human belief systems and traditions that have changed the ways of God for thousands of years now. So, our bondage breaker, Elo Israel and his son Yeshua, has brought us out to keep his times, and all that we have committed unto him against that day, or are the times of him spoken into being, his own times for us. Because I live, you too will live. When that day comes, you will know that I am united with my Father, and you with me, and I with you. See, we're one. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me, and the one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him. He reveals it in his word to us by the Spirit of Adonai. Yeshua tells us, for in union with the Mashiach, you are all children of God through this trusting faithfulness, because as many of you were immersed into the purity, the purification, and to the Messiah have clothed yourself with the Messiah. And the living waters, you've come through the waters of bitterness, the waters of affliction, in whom there is neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free man, neither male nor female. For in union with the Messiah, Yeshua, you are all one. If you belong to the Messiah, you belong to the seed of Abraham and heirs according to the promise. The 7 I wills, part of Exodus 6. Take us to the land, give us our inheritance, heirs. Let us follow his ways straight to the promise, to an inheritance that cannot perish, full of fray, cannot delay or fade.
Hallelujah.
Say it together. 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah. I thought somebody would say 1, 2, 3. So I'll say it. I love saying 1, 2, 3. It's the 3 small steps, but great steps. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Any questions about who we listen to? Questions about it more?
No, sir.
Hallelujah. Mishaberach. This is the prayer we have for healing. We're not going to not do that. Prayer for healing for our friends. And we've already spoken a couple of family names in here today. Any others corporately that we need to mention? That anybody come up to the and then after you whisper the names out loud, and then touch the roller plate or the spindle of his Torah. He wants us to touch it. He wants us to join here, listen to it, and speak from these letters. Speak from the Torah. Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Leah ve'Rachel. Hu yavarech et hakalim ba'avur she'anu mitpalim ba'Avraham. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill, because we are praying on their behalf. Phyllis comes to mind, and Philip. Celeste comes to mind. Speak to Janice. Right. Jackie, Alicia. Yes, we talked about John Roberta this morning, and Fred and Tracy. Bill and Frida was mentioned in here the other week.
Pray for me. I'm having surgery on Friday. I have carpal tunnel and trigger finger, so 2 surgeries on Friday.
Okay. to Sister Dale. Oh, how it is. Dave. Harry, thank you for taking away the cancer of Harry. This is the season. I'm not another fucker. Lord, you're healed. This is whisper. Listen. Pray for you. Drink. Rafi, Yohanai, Bidel Rafi. Mishin, Kitiel, Atena, Atan, Ahala, Refu, Shlama. For care of one. Honey, I don't know the second. Now I do not please Adonai, touch him, but the stripes of Yeshua. His hand and his surgery, and the doctor's wisdom. Gather hands. Heal quickly, O Lord. Show favor display mercy. Kuma Adonai, Razaga. Tell us your faith in Yeshua. Say, by faith in Yeshua, I am healed. My hand is going to be renewed, and restored, and made stronger again by the stripes of Yeshua. Baruch atah Adonai rochei cholei al Yisrael. Amen. Hallelujah. It was done. It was done. Hallelujah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu li'malei l'rokamim alechem alacham halimam l'rokotam l'cham chazikam ve'yishlach lehem mehera rafur shoma min hashemayim v'rafur hanafesh v'rafur haguf hashtam ba'agala uvizman kariv v'nomar. Amen. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be renewed. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. May these sources of strength be blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with the refuah shlama, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. And let us say, Amen. Let us remember that we each desire wholeness and healing, and all candidates for courage, compassion, and strength for the day. Deep shalom to all. And let us say, Amen. After the reading. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher makam anu Torah temet v'chayei olam natan b'tokenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has given us the Torah of truth and has planted everlasting life within us. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah, amen, because you and more, you spoke it.
Amen.
You spoke truth. You spoke emet into our lives. Hallelujah. And now, we cry out, we point to the one who's giving us truth. This instruction and this Torah. Vezot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'Yad Moshe. And this is the Torah given to Moshe for the children of Israel at the command of the Lord by the hand of Moshe. Amen. Tree of life to those who hold fast to it. Let us hold fast to what He has spoken to us. Eskaivi lama kazikimba vetohea meusha derachea drakenoa Devoteka Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Benashua Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Return us, O Lord, to you, and we shall return. Renew our days as in the days of old. Amen. He did not send his Son into the world to condemn us. The world through him might be saved.
Amen.
He commands his love toward us in this. While we were yet sinners, Mashiach died for us. So he keeps his word. He keeps his word that he spoke and more. Study to show ourselves approved unto God, workers that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. His word is truth. Sanctifies by your word. We know we believe and persuaded that he is able to keep that which we committed unto him against that day. Thank you. Dali Ne'emiata Omer. Know before whom we stand. Lest we fall. And this is the blessing that he conveys. So he conveyed this through Moshe, speaking it to Moshe. And he's told Moshe, give it to Aaron. So that Aaron will teach. It's the order, the Levitical order through Aaron. We can't receive this unless we believe in the Levitical order. See that order? Let us believe. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmarecha. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Through Sar Shalom, Messiah Yeshua, he is the Prince of Peace. The peace of all peace is he. I am who? I am he. And they all fell backward. He said those words in the garden. He chose to give his life up. No one took it from him. Oh, say shalom, B'Rah. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. They'll call Israel B'Ru, amen. He who makes peace in his heights. May he make peace upon us and upon all Israel. Yehi ratzon minofeneka Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu. Shebani b'yicha v'dash b'mara v'yameinu. V'ten kotenu b'torateka. V'sham avideka v'yirah. Ki me'olam mukshanim. Karimoniot. May it be your will, O Lord our God, God of our forefathers, that the holy temple be rebuilt speedily in our days. Grant us our share in your Torah, and may we serve you there with reverence, as in days of old and in former years. Then the offerings of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasing to the Lord, as in days of old and in former years. Amen.
Amen.
Sim shalom tova avracha, chen v'chesed v'rakami. Aleinu v'alkal Yisrael ameka. Arkeno avinu kalana ki ekad v'od peneka. Ki v'od peneka datalano aina Eloheinu. Torah, Chan, Vacha, V'Hesed, V'Zdaka, V'Vraka, V'Rachamim, V'Chaim, V'Shalom, V'Tov, V'Yanecha, V'Adoreka, Beka, Ezrael, V'Kal of Kal Esh, Shemeka, V'Rovos V'Shalom, Baruch Ata Adonai, HaMevorak Et Amo Yisrael, V'Shalom, Amen. Beautiful the feet of those who bring the gospel of good news. How beautiful of our Father to send the Chemkai, the bread of life from heaven, and Messiah Yeshua for us, to whom we bless and praise for every word and every physical morsel we eat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Amen. And thank you, Stan, for such a wonderful offer for all of us to share together. One family, one love. Hashem Yeshua. Amen. Any other announcements today?
No, thanks.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let our visitors please go first through the line today. And thank you. Thank you.
Amen.